in the sun. Going back to Philly, flipping them, licking them, smoothing over everything in sight. Duster flowing, abs showing, looking like you wanna take a bite. Going back to Philly, hip hop, non-stop, crush you with karate chops. Your mom's the bomb, like napalm in a wig farm. Meet you at the deli. Going back to Philly, trashing, crashing, developing a ration, busting some moves. Going back to Philly, Philly, Philly. Going back to Philly, I don't think so. Going back to Philly, Philly, Philly. Going back to Philly, I don't think so. Potential small losers, all salty like the ocean. Going back to Philly, where craniums are pounded, busted, encrusted in the hot morning sun. Going back to Philly, pandering, philandering, slandering, gerrymandering. Always brush your teeth. Baby, tanning, jihad, planning. Throw the pool, let's go. Going back to Philly, Philly, Philly. Going back to Philly, I don't think so. Going back to Philly, Philly, Philly. Going back to Philly, I don't think so.
Hey, let's do this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome back to my live stream. Welcome back to Philly. Hello, hello. Code for Veronica's here. Brave Cobra out there in Belgium. Good afternoon. Happy Saturday from Lennon BR. Yes, it is. Hey, Maz. Good to see you. Thanks for that. All the emotes there. That's cool. I love seeing that. Shy Sharp is here. Awesome. Thank you. Good afternoon, wherever you might be. The one killer turtle. Hang on. Let me try this. Let me try this killer turtle. Let's do this. The one killer turtle. How's that? Is that better? Oh my gosh, it is so good to be back. Back home in the friendly confines of Chez Fritz. I flew home last night. It was late. I didn't get home till almost 11. Just unpacked everything and threw it in the laundry. Dumped everything into the studio here. It was like, all right, we're going to put this back together tomorrow morning before we get on. It's great to be drinking from my own coffee mug again. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. A week away and then a couple days away during the week before that, and then a week out for .NET Conf. Oh, my gosh. Is the stream running on a VM? No. It's live. It's here. We're really in the home studio. Let's get some music playing. Got to have music playing here in the background. Then I want to talk a little bit about Microsoft Ignite this week. I'm going to play, let's play Judson. This is music to code by from our friend Carl Franklin. He's graciously granted us access to be able to play some of this music here. You can always check out music to code by at mtcb.pwop.com. Or, of course, you can download and subscribe to the service, to the app, musictoflowby.com. All right. Let's see. Am I missing a logo in the corner there? What happened to my logos? My logo's not loading? I thought it looks like I missed a logo there. They should all be there. I did pull the event, the Ignite event out. All right, we'll see what happens. Yeah, there we go. We're good. We're good. All right. Let's head over here and let's talk about Microsoft Ignite this week. Ignite is my favorite event of the year. Oh my gosh. And I got to remember, new hat. I got to thank our friend, I hope I get it right, Rob Gibbons, for passing along the Detroit Tigers hat there. He saw me at the booth on the ASP.NET booth on Monday at Ignite, said, I know you wear hats on every stream. Here's a new hat for you to wear. Thanks so much, Rob, for the new hat, and I'll wear it proudly. Today's going to be a good day for me, going out to the park for a walk, then going to a coffee shop, get some work on a new post for my blog. I think it's always a great day when you're able to produce content, you're able to get something done. I hate wasting time. All right, let's go over to this view. There it is, Microsoft Ignite. Tremendous keynote, all kinds of great information launched, mentioned there. I didn't see it. I was too busy working. And general sessions that were really, really good. There is a general session here, an end-to-end tour of the Microsoft Developer Platform. You got to check it out. This is from the boss. You know who the boss is. I don't need to tell you who it is. Scott! And it's a really good tour of all the great features on the developer platform. Some of my friends, like Cecil Phillip and Anthony Chu, are part of this, and it's one of the top-rated sessions at the entire event. Check it out. It's right here. If you go to ignite.microsoft.com, it'll reroute you to microsoft.com/language/ignite. But it's right here up front. You can find my one breakout session. If you search through the list of sessions here, and you'll be able to watch that on your own time. It was about 45 minutes, and we talked about how to migrate from ASP.NET on the .NET Framework to ASP.NET Core on .NET Core. And I'm proud to say that at one point, it was among the top 10 sessions for the entire event, based on the reviews that came in. So I'm really thrilled about that. I've never had as high scores. So I'm pretty happy. How do I order a .NET Loves Me t-shirt? Let's see if we can go find that real quick. So there is a swag location. No, it's not .NERD. GitHub.com. It's like .NET swag, I believe. Order stickers. So you can find it. Here's all the logos. I don't see it. .NET all the things. No, I don't think this is it. No, I like that logo, but no, that's not it. .NET bots. No. .NET bot branded. No. .NET bot rigged. What is that? Oh, here we go. There it is. It's not .NET Love, but the .NET Loves Me? I don't Let's ask John and Beth. Hey, good afternoon, Ancient Coder. Great to see you again. Thanks so much for stopping in, everybody, with all the problems I was having yesterday morning. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Let's put this question out here to our friends. John Galloway. John Galloway is the executive director of the .NET Foundation. And, of course, we'll also reach out to Beth Massey. Beth is, she's the lead, the marketing lead, what they call it, product marketing manager for .NET. I have a question in our Twitch chat room asking about some place we can order. It's the .NET Loves Me shirt. Is that what you're looking for? Is that Ilka Sims? A .NET Loves Me t-shirt. Is that available somewhere? There we go. So follow along with that tweet and we'll see if we can get a response on there. All right. Close that. Cool. So happy with the release notes for the new VS Code update, and the team mentioned a site I made this month to track the number of open issues. Very cool, Len and BR. Let me come back to that in a second. I want to finish talking about Ignite. So, let me show my session here so you can at least find it if you're interested, and I'll paste it in the chat room. Thank you. Spin, spin, spin. How hard is this? You know what the sessions are at your event. Show me. Fine, I'm going to click over here to session catalog. No, not going to go anywhere. Okay. I think I broke it. No problem, Ilka. We'll see what we can do to make that happen. This isn't going to load. That doesn't make me happy. Ah, there we go, finally. All right, so you can just do a search for Fritz. There it is. Migrate your existing ASP.NET application to ASP.NET Core. Let's go over to the code view. That's a little bit better. It's right there, right above me. Go, this one. Right there. Yeah. So the video should be posted shortly. We had a full room. Everybody, there were 250 seats in the room and 600 people registered. So we had a lot of folks. Both in the room and in the overflow room, way down by the Channel 9 studio setup. And there were like 12 screens up on a giant wall. You could plug in headphones and listen to whichever track you wanted. And I called out to some of the folks in the overflow room a couple times. Hey, Skippy there in the front row, stop falling asleep. That kind of thing. It was fun. So this should pop up here within the next couple days, I'm assuming, as they edit down all the content. So you can check that out. If you're interested in Ignite next year, it will be November. A shift in time. It's not going to be in September. It'll be in November, which might be a little bit nicer, a little bit less chance of a hurricane, back in the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. So much fun being in Orlando. And the dirty secret about when they plan these events in Orlando is that they usually get a deal with Universal Studios, and the attendee party is at Universal Studios, and it's just attendees across Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. So you get to go on all the Harry Potter rides for free. So good. I need more coffee. Oh my gosh, I haven't had a lot of coffee this week, and I need more. Hey Jeff, did you do a demo about how your tools, all those overlays work? I'm assuming they're part of Stream Tools. Some of them are, some of them are not. I did a recording. I think I put it over here on my channel, but I did a recording on the Visual Studio channel about how I put all those things together. Ooh, look at that hair. Here it is, behind the scenes, setting up the Visual Studio channel. September 4th.
Camtasia 2018.
Camtasia. Everybody loves Camtasia.
Consistency.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Yeah, go. And look, I'm on the other side. That's how you know it's somewhere different. I'm over there. And I showed how I set up some of the things. I don't show how I set up
You can do other things under audio.
all of the overlays that I do here,
Being interrupted by OBS.
but I show how I set up OBS and how I set up my Stream Deck.
When I've been tinkering
So you can go ahead and check that out. A lot of fun. That was September 4th. I should have grabbed the link. Where is it? Open. I'm going to open recently closed. Isn't there like a recently closed? Is it library? Bookmarks, sync tabs, history. This one. Let's grab that.
I'm going to reach into my email.
Control Shift T. Are you kidding? Does that do a thing?
And I'm going to
Lannon.
email over here and
I didn't know that.
I have data for an agenda.
All right. I learned something new today. In the stream, I know something new today. Oh my gosh. Here's the mention in the release notes from Lannon. Oh, so cool. Let's see. Issue grooming. Blah, 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 blah. The main VS Code repository now is a TBD open feature requests. Look at this. Published a personal site with a live tracker of our issue numbers in the main repository. No, I didn't want to see the image. It shows nicely the progress. This is a live tracker? How live is it? That's pretty cool. How I made this. Oh, that's even cooler. Oh, that's awesome stuff. Congratulations. Really good to see that. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Svetzal, good morning from the Canadian wilderness. I guess they have internet there in the Canadian wilderness. Trouble getting my laptop to load your channel properly, but I'm confused because something's busted on my machine, and it's clearly not. On the fritz. I see what you did there. Svetzal. Be very careful, Svetzal. I think I see a bear behind you. Don't move. It's not going to growl. It's just going to get you. Can we run that on CoreWiki? Ooh, Brave Cobra, you're getting into something that I was discussing this week with the Scots. CoreWiki's becoming a richer and richer sample, and we were this close to having CoreWiki be one of the samples that they were going to use during their .NET intro to what's new in .NET session. And unfortunately, they couldn't use it for a couple of different reasons. But their feedback makes me want to clean up this repository a bit. It makes me want to simplify our README here a bit because it's really, really long. I think some of these things we need to start moving into wiki pages so that our README is very simplified and it becomes, there's a lot to read here to get started, with CoreWiki, just to learn about the project. We're literally throwing the book at them. And don't get me wrong, there's a tremendous amount of detail. Exactly, Frank. We need a wiki about the wiki. Which I think we should put on corewiki.info. It's here, isn't it? Did it go to sleep? Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up!
Oh my.
I know it's not responding. There we go. It's a little bit out of date. We need to build some release pipelines to publish. I haven't gotten any themes, so I'm not closing the contest yet. I may let it go till the end of October at this point just to see what we get. So there's a couple things that are out of date on it, but it's not in a bad place. It works great. We do need to do some updating, and I'm okay with that. So I think having an About CoreWiki page out here somewhere that is itself a CoreWiki article would be really good. But yes, you're right, Lannon. Time to do some dog fooding. I agree. Oktoberfest or Jeff's stream? Of course, this stream. Greetings from Bavaria. Hey, guten Nachmittag there, Tobon. Tobo Nautilus. Let me know how to pronounce that. But I agree. And Ozcoder, good morning from Australia. It must be really early there. Or late. Good evening, right? You're about 14 hours up on me, so it's about midnight, right? Yeah, there we go. I remember the offset. All right. So, had a great time at Ignite. If you want to go to Ignite next year, and I'll most likely be there because I do speak at most of the Microsoft events. November, so you can sign up and get that in the loop, get that planned in your budget for next year. I'll probably be at Build also. And I was talking to some friends from Sweden. Yes, Orlando will be the host for the next Ignite. We were just looking at that. There's a chance that I'll be speaking at an event. I'm not sure if it's a keynote, but there's a chance I'll be speaking at an event in Stockholm in February. Need to work out some of the details, but it's looking really good. Am I going to participate in Hacktoberfest with CoreWiki? Might be cool to jump into C# and be able to contribute back to the community. Anybody can contribut. 420. Dude, Peiki. Is that Peikai? Let me know how to pronounce that. 420 commits. That's something. Wait a sec. Rick. You're losing your voice here on me, Rick. What happened to you? Rick! Woo! There we go. I'm just going to put my Stream Deck configuration. Peiki. Okay. You're right. 420 commits, right? So, and there's how my Stream Deck is configured. Right? Because I've always got this one over here.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Very long career. Do it! All right, we'll get back into this. Thank you, Shia. So we're absolutely going to be doing more and more work with CoreWiki in the open, and starting in just a few days. And gosh, Monday, right? We're going to be into Ubuntober. I didn't even announce what day today is at the beginning of the show. Today's Saturday, September 29th, 2018. See, that's how out of it I am. I completely forget how to start the show. Starting on Monday, all work we'll see here on the stream, all work, will be in Ubuntu. We're going to use Linux the entire month of Ubuntober. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. Lots and lots of Linux. Excited to do Hacktoberfest with Microsoft. Ashley McNamara is making t-shirts for people who contribute to any Microsoft repository for Hacktoberfest. I wonder if I can get CoreWiki registered as one of those repositories. Tell you what, I am going to open Notepad. I like that idea, Lannon. Let me see. Can we get CoreWiki on the Microsoft Hacktoberfest repository list? Because I'd love to be able to reward you if you're contributing to our project. Great shirt. Oh, thank you. I also have a patch that I need to sew on a hat. So there we go. We were giving away these patches at Build, and I still have it, and I still got to get it sewn on a hat so I can wear that as a hat. Why are they able to announce Ignite always a year ahead while Build is kept a secret to only a few weeks? I completely agree. So Ignite is positioned very much as a operational event. These are things that you can do right now, this year, or within the next year, right? These are things that we're either already released and getting you up to speed on, or advanced features of, or things that are coming by the end of the year. So it's very much an operational event, and it took this very, very steep slant towards just IT ops topics over the last year or two. I think you've seen, if you look at the content, it's tilting back towards development, so it's more of a 50-50 show with more development content, so that it is half developer, half IT ops, and really focusing on anything that you need to be productive with Microsoft tools. So to announce that ahead of time, we're not making huge product announcements at Ignite. So I think that's okay. I think that's great. But Build is very much a future show. Here's something that we're working on that might be out in the next year or two. We don't know, but we want to get your feedback. We want to talk about it and go from there. But here's the thing with Build. There's two other companies. There's a fruity company and there's a search company. And now there's a bookstore company that want to compete aggressively with Microsoft, and they want to torpedo any announcement that comes out of Build. So they actually schedule their events to occur at the same time as Build because they think they can supersede your interest in content. So we saw a little bit of that happen this year, where they scheduled their events the same week as Build. And Exactly. So, is it AAF v STAM? Yes, that's exactly what happened. So we want to avoid that. We want to make sure that we have the limelight a little bit to ourselves so we can talk about and really focus on content for you. So, right, you don't want to share time between all the different conferences. You want to stay focused on one topic and advance through there. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about CoreWiki now. We got a lot of great pull requests. I'm going to take this one from Chris Jones. It's been hanging out here. We've talked about this. We've struggled with this. I'm going to close this and decline it. I can't accept this. As it is a bit too much of a change to the entire project. My sinuses are still a little out of whack. Hey, Tiago, good afternoon. Perhaps we can just introduce the rule sets with no breaking changes and start to slowly, with no breaking changes, but only warnings, and start to slowly adhere to those rules. That way we can slowly start enforcing some of these good formatting and programming rules that Chris wants to introduce here and that we've already discussed and we've talked about. Argtang feature Azure search. Let me come back to this one. Handler clean, because there's a whole thing I want to do with Azure features to light up different Azure capabilities, and I want to put them into a project, and you can already see I've got some comments here, where I'd like to have a CoreWiki Azure project that has all of our Azure features and facilities that you want to light up. The key thing there is that I want to make sure that you can install CoreWiki on any hosting provider, whether it's Azure or somebody else's cloud, AWS, Google Cloud, or if someone, your own hosting provider. And I don't want you to be required to use Azure. So I think we can talk about this. I want to come back to it and get it moving in the right direction. Handler code cleanup with tests. This is from Ndani. Ndani, or it looks like Nicholas Daniels. Added a couple of static methods to command result for the success and error cases to clean up the usages from the handler code. I also added unit tests around the changes. Oh, well, that sounds interesting. Let's take a look what this change is here. So create new article command handler. So handle, instead of new command result successful equals true. Oh, that's just butter.
Oh my.
Oh, that's cool. Command result.error, create new article exception. Cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is, I really like this format. Change that command to straight get sets. Not sure about that because I want the commands to be idempotent. Looking down here, so there's that success error. So basically success says successful equals true, and error returns a new command result with successful equals false with the exception. That just makes sense. That's really cool. With a couple of unit tests to support. I like it. Oh my gosh. I think this is really, really cool. What do you think, chat room? The change here so that you can say command result success or command result error. Let me know. I'm going to read some more comments while I wait for your feedback here. I'm very happy that cloud providers are trying to converge APIs and make it so you can write something on one provider and it's fairly simple to transfer to others. That is nice. Yeah. Right, because the more portable that we make our APIs, the more likely it is for you to be able to migrate to another. Hybrid cloud infrastructure is how I tend to work, and it has been positive so far. That's cool, Lennon. Looks clean, looks good. Maybe int the private set part. Yeah, that's the only part that I can live with it, but nice. Is the private block hence removed? The private block. Which private block? I agree with Brave Cobra. Okay. All right, so let's merge this. And it looks like all the tests ran properly because all checks have passed. So we now have an Azure pipeline, right, that runs this. It didn't go where I thought it was going to. So anybody can see what's going on here with the changes. Really cool. Is it a blocking statement for that reason? I don't think so. Let's see, where was that? That was down here, edit article command. Let's see if that's anywhere else here on the page. Edit article command handler. No. 30 matches. Are you kidding? No. Oh, you know what? It might be here in the tests. Yeah. It's here in the tests. All right. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I agree, Stam. I'd keep it in then. Yeah. How easy is it to set up tests on Azure pipelines? I currently am split between using Travis and AppVeyor and interested in if it is simpler to use a CI provider that handles all OSs. It was real easy for me. Let me merge this. I love this API change. Makes it so easy to use command result now. Big thanks for the PR and especially the unit tests. All right, love seeing that. So when the tests that run as part of this. So currently, well, this was running with, stop it. I have a nightly build run now. And then I've also got this core CI, wait a sec. Hang on. I set one up to run nightly. Yeah, nightly, there it is. And then this one should, test pass, 100% passed. 1 second. Right, if I do this, why won't it let me edit? Won't let me edit either one. Oh, I'm not signed in. Get signed in, Jeff. You have to be signed in order to use your continuous integration. Did I remember my password? Hell no, of course I didn't. Try that one. Did that one work? No, that one didn't work either. How about this one? Is that one going to work? No. Maybe this one will work. Oh, crap, no. What the hell did you do, Fritz? I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe it's this one. No, maybe it's that one. I can't remember the damn password. I've got too many damn passwords. What am I going to do? Maybe it's that one? No. Maybe it's this one? No. Or that one? Yes! All right. Edit. Because one of these is running nightly and one of these is running on the pull requests. And no. GitHub. Tag sources, rebuilt builds. Report build status. Don't clean. What? Triggers. Right, this one is not continuous integration. And it runs at 3 a.m. This is CoreWiki CI. All right, so go back. All right, so this one should be running nightly. Scheduled build, there they are. This one should be running on every pull request. And I don't see that it is. Right, so I've made this a much simpler, just get the build done. So let's go to the triggers over here. Ah, it's not enabled. Batch changes while a build is in progress. Sure, do that too. Dev, yeah, that's fine. I should also add the other branches. Right? Because I want it to run basically on every branch. No, that's fine. Pull request validation. Yes, we want pull request validation. Branch filters. Build pull request from forks of this repository. Yeah. Make secrets available to builds of forks. No. No. This one. So no build scheduled, build completion. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Save. Build option is not supported in API versions. Great. What? Allow scripts auth access. Okay. Is that this? So, did it save? I don't. Fine. I don't know what that means. Go, Fritz, go, Fritz, go. I'm doing it.
World exclusive.
I'm the only one that does this. It is easy to set up Azure pipelines. Yes. So let me go back to the tasks. So, I set up, it does a .NET restore. I have it do an npm install so that it'll bring down Font Awesome. It does the build, right? And I just copied these tasks over and then I did the test, right? So this is where I have it running the tests now. So it's nice and simple. It reaches down into my test project, executes and publishes the test results. Will Airways, thanks so much for the follow. That's going to help us towards that Rainbow Beard Challenge. I really think we're not making it. 3838 of 5,000 for October 20th. We're literally 3 weeks away. And then publish artifacts, right? So I can save that off when we're ready to install, when we're ready to build that release pipeline. Having had 6 different apps using both full framework and core over the past week, it was very fast and easy. Love the YAML files, just need them for the CD side of things. Yeah. Why not using Cake? So here's the problem with Cake. All of this stuff is hidden. And as a sample that I want, maybe not the folks that are watching right now, but someone in the future to be able to click through and say, well, how exactly does CoreWiki get built? This is easy to see and follow for that quick bit of, does it work? Does the pull request get validated? When I go back, no, save. I said save. Now, I don't know what that is. The allows script auth access. I don't know what that is. How do I fix this? How do I fix this? In the build step. Which build step? It doesn't say. It just says you're not allowed to do this. See, it's not there. Allow scripts. See, there's nothing there. Right, so what I wanted to do was in the triggers, right, enable continuous batch changes. And same thing here, enable pull request validation. And I also want to include project first start. That's fine, do it. Turned on continuous integration. Did I put a dot in there? No. No, and this happens. I'm literally toast. I can't change it. Right? If I just turn on enable continuous integration. No. Seriously? Allow scripts off access build option is not supported. I didn't do anything. Do you need those control options? What control options? Enabled queue. I shouldn't have to do this. This is not acceptable in my mind. So we're going to tell someone about it. I can't modify my pipeline. This is a problem. Why am I blocked with this error when attempting to modify my existing build pipeline? I can't do anything without getting, I can't make any changes without getting this error. And it doesn't tell me how to fix it. Please advise. No, I don't want to add another tweet. That's a bad idea. Bad idea. No. Get rid of that one. Add the image. Where is it? I just put it down in here. There it is. I mean, I can't do anything with my build pipelines now. That makes me feel bad. If you run into an error like this, taking a screenshot and being very clear about what the problem is and sending it to those folks so that they can get that feedback and they can act on it will helps everybody. So I'm passing my build and auth token. No, I'm not. Well, I have to for GitHub so it knows how to get it. Right, let me go back through to the... Hang on. I'm not passing. I mean, literally, I did. Right? So I'm up in this one. Edit. And even if I was passing it, tell me how to fix it. It doesn't tell me how to fix it. It's telling me an internal property that I can't change. If I go down into build, there's... Right? I'm not passing it anything here. I'm saying build, project restore projects, and then the build configuration. I'm passing an Azure DevOps token. Where? And if I am, that's internal here. Options tab. Where? There's nothing here where I can even configure and say that I'm passing a token. If I go back to right here on the build tasks, control options, right? It's not clear where these things are. They moved it. Exactly. How am I supposed to fix this? It was running just fine, and now it can't. Help, please. Right, I just want to go into triggers and set that. Ah, oh, that just worked. Project first start. That worked too. Okay, now it's working. I don't know, Tales of Me. Seems to be an erroneous error. I had to enable the YAML build feature to get around it. Oh, tank. Yeah, I don't know. They must have read the tweet. Maybe they did. Oh, here we go. But check this out. Haha, look at this. Ilka from earlier was asking about a store. Our friend Beth Massey wrote back, we're working on a proper store, but for now we have shopspreadshirt.com.net. T-shirts. .net all the things. Rosalind, the .net bot. Cup of tea. I don't see .net loves me, but they're working on it. Great stuff. Pac-Man Jr., hey, great to see you. Maybe UI and some data saved in it somewhere and refresh fixed it. Could be. Or they pushed a fix. I think that's more likely. All right. Well, that's fine. I've got the CI/CD working over here now. So this should run, yeah, see the scheduled builds? So this should only run now on a schedule where it does the full cake build across all the different environments. Right? And it's only in YAML. So this is what I was talking about, how it's not very demoable. Right? Coming in here, all I see is get sources. And then it fires off a cake build. And it's all hiding behind a YAML file that I can't even see over here. Which, not terrible. Gives me tremendous control over things, but I don't have the ability to interact and demonstrate what's going on here for a demo. So the Scots couldn't use it. But now with this CI build that I put together, where it just does the build, this I think is a much better option to demonstrate what's going on. New YAML build seems really non-intuitive. Feels like a throwback to Ant and Nant, if you ask me. I'm going to rename this and call it CoreWiki Nightly. just wanted to save it. You didn't put the thing in the box? Rename to Nightly. Cool. All right. Can you include all branches there with the filters and the pipelines instead of just the two now? That's what I wanted to be able to do. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Right, triggers. Right, can I just say, can I do that? Does that work? Change to build on all of, oh, wait a sec. Yeah. Yeah. Change to, I was thinking about, do I exclude master on all branches? There we go. That worked. And I haven't done any release here yet. We should do that at some point. Put together a release pipeline. So, all right. Let's go check this one. Removed redundant reference to font awesome. This change is reviewable. Is it now? I have no idea what the syntax is supposed to be for all the steps there. There's documentation hiding out there for it. If you're integrating with something like Octopus Deploy. Yeah. Any PR should run the pipeline. You're right, Brave Cobra. Pac-Man Jr. says, nice thing YAML build is some CI/CD solutions allow for the YAML file to be source control, to be in source control. Yes. Whereas the build is all configured in UI, no source control. Actually, I believe it is source controlled. I believe it's source controlled on their server, right? If I look at the history here, you can see it. I can export this to my source control and include it and manage it over there, but then I lose all ability to look at it. Perhaps not in your own project. Right. Yep. There we go. All right. I'm going to go back and continue. I'm going to finish these pull requests so we can start building some cool stuff here. We are setting this right above, so no need to do this one more time here. What did we do? Use font awesome. That's on line 150. So when we're not in development, it's right there. When we are in development, it's right there. So what was the change? There was a script defer to include it no matter what. Is that the way it is right now? Pages shared layout. No. CoreWiki. Pages shared layout. Looking at this, it was down around line 150. Yeah. So releases 520 all. Releases 520 all is there for production. And it's also right there. Yeah, I agree. Let's remove that extra one then. That makes sense. Cool. Thank you for catching this. Much appreciated. All right. Cool. One more thing. So let me just take a quick peek and make sure we're at 422 commits. There we go. So we should start to see some of, right? We should start to see Aminus and Danny pop in here onto the ticker up at the top. All right. Next pull request. I'm going to added integrity check for Popper. Used SRI hash to generate the integrity hash for Popper. Okay. That's fine. Thank you for the contribution. That makes things easier. Add backlog of videos and architecture series. This has a check, an X on it because this commit came while I was in the middle of modifying the pipeline a few days ago. These may need time marks for reference. So this is my discussion about what's on that README page. Because this is an enhancement to README to add a bunch of these different entries. I'm okay with the change for now, but I really want this moved out somewhere where it can be included as more of documentation and less in the intro to the entire project. Thanks for the contribution. All right. Simplify user roles workflow from 3 hours ago from Daniel. Wow. The user role manager seems complicated, so I decided to take a stab at simplifying it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What do you think? That looks much, much better. This did not pipeline trigger because it wasn't configured right to do the continuous integration. I wish there was a way I could say, hurry up and trigger this. Run it now. You know what? I can run it now, can't I? Let's do that. Oh, crumbs. It is running now. But it's not running for that PR. I need it. How do I run it for just that PR? Because right now it's running for those dev branches that I just merged into. Yeah, look at that. Right? So these take about 3 minutes, right? 3 to 4 minutes to run versus... No, don't go over there. Bad idea. I was trying to go into this one. These take 6, 7, 8 minutes to run. Trigger a manual build. Well, how do I trigger a manual build against the pull request? And even then, this looks like it's all user interface. Steven, I just got here. Are you running on a self-hosted agent? I am not. I am not running on a self-hosted agent. Yeah, this looks like we wouldn't see an error coming out anyway on unit tests because it's, well, maybe. Oh my gosh, this looks like it's so much easier to interact with. But it's just a user interface change, so we wouldn't see a unit test break on this. But it sure looks a heck of a lot simpler to work with. I really like this. I'm taking it. Wow, this is a big improvement over our initial user interface. Many thanks for the contribution. Oh, it didn't merge. I thought I merged. Merge it. Do it. Thank you.
Oh my.
Now we got it done. All right. All right. Let's I'm gonna... Do I want to dig into this one now? Because I really want to work on the get started stuff. Let me work on the get started for now. And then we'll come back. We'll come back later for that. Some of those issues should have closed. Yeah, we've got a couple of these. Oh, and our friend Matthew Groves here. There he is. suggested that we add a NoSQL data provider for Couchbase. I think this is a great idea. The EF tight coupling has been dropped, and we should be able to get this in. So let's make sure we have Matthew unblocked here. Having trouble trying to figure out where to start. In Startup CS, there's a call to services configured database, which in turn calls services add repositories. Add repositories seems very much coupled to EF. I can think of a couple ways to refactor this. I'm guessing your intent is that I shouldn't have to make changes to Startup CS. Could we point in the right direction? I think Matthew's got a interesting point here. Let me run a... let's do a git pull. And then I'm going to need to merge down into my project from dev, and then we can continue working. Git merge dev. What? It's not already up to date. It can't be. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Huh. Your branch and origin dev. Use git pull to merge the remote branch. I already did that. Oh yeah. Look at all that. Ugh. Deleted by us. Azure Pipelines YAML. That's fine. Git add Azure Pipelines YAML. Okay. Merged from GitHub. Do it. Here we go. Cool. I don't want to... if I git push, it's gonna... Yeah, and the local branch wasn't merged yet. There we go. Now let me go back to this. Now git merge dev. There we go. So now that's up to date. Now let's see if we can give Matthew some feedback so he can be unblocked here. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good at all. I'm out of coffee. We're gonna have to do something about that. How's this? Is this better? Holy tears! What are you crying over? What's the matter? Do I want to give feedback? You need to do something about Zoom. Just saying. Okay, that didn't... What happened to my Visual Studio? Visual Studio, what happened? Let me make some new Java. Don't make Java. Make C#. There you go. Holy crow. Holy crow. There's a whole lot more stuff in this. Where's the environment? I want to change the settings for the environment. Let's pull this back to like 10. That's better. All right. Where was I? So in startup over here, right now it calls app configure database. And configure database, if I do an F12, oh my gosh, we need to get Karnak running so you can see my hotkeys as I bounce around here. So right now it calls configure database, and this lives in CoreWiki configuration startup, configuration extensions, and it calls scope seed data, service provider get service. Holy tears, thank you so much for the follow. I should recognize our other new followers. Nakandrea, thanks so much for the follow, and we're pushing those numbers higher and higher. So I'm loading up with G Fuel. This is Blue Ice is the flavor that I'm currently enjoying this month. I do not have a sponsorship. This is strictly me paying for my own caffeinated beverages. So, and I don't have a branded version of G Fuel like other Twitch streamers. I just enjoy the product. So, no coffee. Yes, I agree. That's definitely a reason to cry. But G Fuel's pretty good. So, so I see what Matt's talking about here. We are still tightly coupled here, at least to the identity stuff, living out here. And then where is it we're doing the seeding for our entity framework configuration, right? That's being done. I'm not trying to move it. You're very annoying. So add repositories. This is being called over here. This is in configured database in CoreWiki configuration startup, right? That's in here. So this is right where we're tightly coupled right now to entity framework. You posted an issue on that. Right, about referencing ASP.NET. No, is that the one you're referring to? We want the identity UI in the website and keep the session there, but do the actual authentication in the backend, so also a mobile app can use the same auth rules. Yes. But what we're running into here is these two are a bit tightly coupled. Right, so you're on 296. Yeah, that's one we were just looking at. If we're going to allow you to provide, that would take the identity stuff out of the user interface. It would. Okay. I just got a reply on Twitter. There we go. What are you trying to do? Make any changes to the trigger of our build and I'll even give them a link to the build pipeline because it's a public build. And this error appears. Okay. So we need to have some way as we choose our database provider to appropriately add those configuration items here, right? Configure database right now is tightly coupled to those features. I agree, Brave Cobra. That is a bigger one to tackle. Where'd it go? This one. You're right. We will need to put a provider lookup into the configure database methods. What do you think? We'll take care of that on stream very soon. Or somebody can take a shot at doing that themselves. Burned Taco, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. All right, so the last pull request hanging out here is that search help. 4 new tweets. No. The Microsoft Ignite tour. Okay. Are you streaming now? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And it looks like that's not how you spell looks. Looks like the problem went away. Cool. All right. Moving on. 3 new builds already. Cool. I don't like that it just says CI build here and it doesn't actually say what caused it. All right. Auto mod. What did it do? Auto mods rollout. No. Wow, it got upset thinking the term agnostic was a religious whatever. It is, but it not in that context. Meh. But I agree, the identity should be DB agnostic, but it is coupled to identity framework, so it can run with different different entity framework providers. All right, so we need to come back and we need to figure out how to refactor this so that we can choose a database provider and a database implementation library and properly include that and reference it. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm the same way Brave Cobra, but it saw the word agnostic and thought, oh, that's religious. That's crap. Whatever. Go away. Not you, Automod. And I do think that it sounds very, very Transformers. Right? Automods, roll out! No. Kind of. Peter Cullen would be proud. All right. Let's talk about the get started functionality that we've been kicking around here. So the problem that we're trying to solve is when you do deploy your application, when you do deploy CoreWiki, not with this, perhaps you're one of the folks that clicks the deploy to Azure button and you deploy it. There's a series of things that we want to configure on that first visit to the application so that you can take over admin access immediately when you get logged in there. And we started working on this a little bit with Javier, and we never got it committed. And unfortunately, we were making the changes on Javier's machine, and I don't have that code. So let's take a look through here, and let's start building and thinking about how we can make that initial load easier and start to scaffold our admin user and put that together out there. All right. And the chat room has gone quiet. We're going to slow it down a little bit. Yeah, I think we do a little bit of middleware. I agree. We're going to do a little bit of middleware to route and load up appropriately that content to configure the application. And I want to do it with a Razor class library, as you see here at CoreWiki first start. I think that font might be a little slow. Small above me. Let me go back into fonts. I want to make sure you can see everything here, and I don't want anybody going blind. Let's try bumping that to 11. I think that's better. Seth, hi, I'm new here. What are we doing today? Well, Seth, welcome to the big show. This is CoreWiki. This is an application that we've been building for some time that will allow you to run a wiki, a CMS-like application. There's an instance installed here at CoreWiki.info, and we're really building this application so that we can learn about all kinds of features inside of ASP.NET Core, hence the name CoreWiki, and other technologies, other architectures as we build this out, so we can extend and learn about new things as we add new features. So, for example, we've been refactoring our architecture so that it uses the Mediator framework. The Mediator enables the CQRS, the Command Query Responsibility Separation architecture. So we learned about that for about a month and a half. We've spent some time learning about different database providers, SQLite, Postgres, all about Entity Framework, the object relational mapper that's available from .NET Core. So this way we can have a very simple project. It's a wiki. You create articles, you save them. Everybody kind of knows what that is. But because we know what that is, it makes it very relatable for us to add new features that use technologies that we might not be familiar with. So it's a great learning experiment that we've been doing here on stream. So thanks so much for joining us, Seth. I appreciate you asking that question and getting us started talking about this and what we're doing here on the big show. All right. So what we're working on today is when you first install other CMSs like WordPress, you get this great little wizard that says, oh, you first installed, where's your database reside? What's the name of your admin user? Where's your email server? So that you can light up those features that are kind of required to start using the application. We want to do something similar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and in our code, I want to add a new feature, and we're going to put it inside of another project here called First Start, CoreWiki.FirstStart. That'll be a Razor class library. So this is a feature that was made available starting with ASP.NET Core, I believe 2.1, that will allow us to put all of our user interface and some business logic into an MVC area. That'll be an isolated area that sits off in a different folder location on our web server that'll have just the dedicated features for this First Start capability hidden there, so that all the business logic to run our main application still lives inside of the base web project. All right? So it will allow us to get hyper-focused on just how to run this stuff for that First Start. And everything over there in the base web project doesn't have to think about this. All right. So let's take a look-see here. We had talked about, and I think Brave Cobra is on the right path here. We want to introduce some middleware that'll allow us to say, oh, you're not configured yet. You don't have a base configuration. Let's send you over here so that you can get your base configuration all set up. So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to add a class into this project, and we'll start talking about middleware at that point. So I'm going to add a class. You found something on GitHub that I found interesting. You found some what on GitHub that you found interesting? Let's call this Startup Extensions. Yeah. And we'll start to put some use middleware in there. You can always post a GitHub link. The bot will review it and tell us what it is that you posted, and we can figure out whether we want to navigate to it. Smoked Coder. Hello. Welcome. Awesome. Friend of mine just gifted me a Raspberry Pi, paid shipping too. Cool. Stream Deck Monitor. Customizable C# app to display real-time system statistics. Ooh, that sounds cool. All right. I'm going to hang on to that URL to look at later, just because I don't want to be too distracted from our current project. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to post that into my notepad of tasks for later. Definitely sounds cool. but I want to make sure that I stay on task. So, but thank you very much for sharing. Where are you learn the C#? Where do you learn C#? So happy, forgot to say hello. No worries. We're doing great here. Thanks so much. I'm back in Philly and from Orlando and having a great time today. So, I've learned C# from several different locations. There's great courses to get you started with C# on Microsoft Virtual Academy that you can check out. And C# will work for you whether you're built, no matter which one of the .NETs that you're building on, whether it's .NET Framework, .NET Core, Xamarin, Mono, even Unity if you're doing game programming. You're a 15-year-old Python developer from Turkey. Oh, that's terrific. Well, welcome. Python's a very interesting language. I know a lot of folks enjoy using it. And thank you for the follow. A little bit of the challenge, though, with Python is that it's hard for an enterprise to find corporate support, right? If they want an enterprise support contract, it's hard to find an organization out there that will support the language and the frameworks. So that's a challenge. You know, there are folks that do want corporate support contracts for those types of things. .NET, Java do have big enterprises that build them, maintain them, and are more than happy to take those support contracts and basically say, yes, if something goes wrong, you can sue us. Hey, Cryosis, good to see you. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Python. I think it's a nice language. It's a great language. But there are lawyers out there. The moral constraints. Nice. That's a great nick. Yes, the moral constraints. Welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. Wow, we got the follow train running now. All right. So let's add some extensions here that allow us to say, well, enable that first start interaction. I'm going to hide some of these other ones here, and let's take a look just at our startup. So right now in our startup class, we have these two methods that we always have with ASP.NET Core, configure services and configure. And these are the two methods that configure how our application runs on the web server. Configure services is called by the runtime, and it configures various services that the web server is going to have available to our application. Configure configures the HTTP request pipeline. So a request comes in, and it'll go through all of these methods top to bottom on every request. Yes, developers. That's a good way to welcome developers to our stream, right? We want to make sure that everybody's welcome and everybody has a good time working here. Closer and closer to that rainbow beard. Inching. There we go. So if we get to 5,000, I'm just going to say when we get to 5,000. No matter when it is, we'll do the rainbow beard. We'll do it. We'll do it no matter what. But it won't necessarily be before TwitchCon there at the end of October. So what I want to add in here is I want to add some way to call and say, if you're in first start mode, we need to start configuring. So I think I want to do it because we're going to remap our requests so that any request that comes into the application when we aren't initially configured should go over to our first start interactions. I think I want to put it right here. I think I want to put it after the status code pages, after we say errors, manage our error pages. So I think I want to do something here and say app use first start configuration. And at this point is when we would actually do that handoff and figure out if we're going to do our first start interactions. So let's think about that. We're going to want to pass in the user manager and the role manager so that we can detect that that the first user has been created. So let's pass in the user manager. Right, the user manager is an object that ASP.NET Core Identity, our identity framework that manages security, uses to interact with the user objects that are in the storage, in our storage facilities. So I think that's all I'm going to need in order to detect that a user has been created and that we have that ability. Now, if I'm choosing a database provider, now, Brave Cobra, here's where I'm kind of running in a circle, because I want to remap and go do that first start configuration before I configure the database, because I don't know what the database is necessarily. Right? You know what I mean there? If I don't know what the database is, let's think about this. I need to put it down here so that it happens after user manager is configured, so that I know who the user manager is, so that I can do authentication, right? I can ensure that folks are authenticated and accessing the application correctly. However, I want to be able to choose my database provider, so I should do it before the database is configured. I saved your life, you're 10 and you're learning C#. You know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, Java, C++, and a lot of C#. Well, that's cool, Smoked Coder. Okay, wow. 10 years old, and that's a lot of programming languages to already have knowledge of. That's great. You'll find that a lot of folks in the software industry are, right, we're hybrid developers. We know a lot of different languages so that we can piece together different features across them. So to have at least a little bit of knowledge of some of those things is really great, you know? You need to detect whether a database is configured and then intercept. Configuring the database cannot use auth. Yeah. You would be temporarily exposed. Yeah, look at how WordPress does that. Am I using WFT application? What do you mean, WFT? No, we're using this as web. How WordPress handles it, yeah. WordPress doesn't give you any kind of a token or anything that you get during the install process or something to kind of verify that you're the one who installed when you do the first visit to the application. Where do we make the jump off here? 13 languages with knowledges of 5 more. Yeah, absolutely, Smoked Coder. Keep on going. Right, that's great stuff. Great stuff. Throw some emotes out there. Keep it up, right? To hear young folks that are learning those languages, I love hearing that. That's really great. With WordPress, you choose the admin password on installation. Exactly. And we don't really have an installation process where you specify the admin password. It comes up. When does it come up? It comes up on the first start. Am I right, Ancient Coder? Doesn't it come up on the first? If there is no DB, redirect to the installer, and the configs are not writable. Yeah. Lannon, I like seeing No-Op Cat's emote out there also. She did a great stream yesterday. Our friend Sue's Hinton, No-Op Cat crossed 9,000 followers. 9,000! Great stuff. All right. So I think you're on the right path there, Brave Cobra. If there is no database, redirect to the installer. So I think that would even come in, gosh, up in here, right? I almost want to hand it the application services so that we can sniff around in there and see what else is going on. I had to watch it for the VOD for 75% of the time, but I learned something in VS Code that I didn't know. I love seeing folks learning about Visual Studio Code because there is so much going on in there that is really, really great stuff. What the heck? All right. So I think in our request pipeline, we need to put it... I think we need to put it after configure database, but before configure authentication. So I think we need to put it here. Let's just see if we can interact. It's not .NET bot, it's C# bot. Put those two together and you'll get the icon if you're a subscriber. And subscribers, you can get a subscription to the channel for free if you have Twitch Prime. You can get a free subscription to any channel each month. And you get a free Twitch Prime subscription if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. So you can take your Amazon Prime, connect it to your Twitch account. There should be a button up at the top of your screen for Twitch Prime. And you'll get one free channel subscription. If you choose to use your subscription here on my channel, I will, of course, give you access to the .NET bot. There it is. Brave Cobra's got one of those. And I'm going to make a match to your donation, to your subscription, and we're going to make a donation to Girl Develop It so that women and other underserved minorities can learn how to write code just like we are here on stream. Yeah, you need to have a subscription. There's other emotes available. Our friend Ma's there in the chat room. She's got access to a bunch of them. If you want to pay a little bit more, you want to help contribute and support that cause, I will always match those contributions, and you'll get access to a couple more emotes as well. So, all right. Where was I? So I think that might be a better place to do this, and I want to pass along, I think, access to the services, right? So, So what's the problem? So I need to figure out if the database has been initialized yet. There you go. Love those. Love those emotes, Moz. Thanks so much. You missed it completely. Way to go. So let's start off doing this. Let's put this over here and let's at least start prototyping this. So let's make this a stat. Blah, 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 blah. That reminds me. Grab the Steve Carell blah blah clip from Bruce Almighty. You know what I'm talking about. The pipe, the schema itself, which part of the database? Any part. Turn into a clip to use from Stream Deck. I also need to grab Do It Live from Bill O'Reilly. So basically you want to know if the database exists at all. Cryosis. I want to know if the database exists, if it's been configured properly, and if it hasn't, redirect to a set of screens so that we can configure it appropriately and allow you to set whatever properties you want. Oh, Brave Cobra. This is a great feature that is coming as part of ASP.NET Core 2.2, and that's health checks. Here it is. So there's a great article here about this new feature that's coming so that you can report back, is my application running properly? What health checks should I add? And this will run great inside of a container. So Glenn's actually been working on this since ASP.NET Core 2.0 was released. So that... Oh, Maz, I saw that tweet just pop up on my watch. Oh, boy. She's trying to recruit. She's trying to recruit a lot of folks there. And here's the thing. I just saw Thurrott. No, I did not see Thurrott this weekend. I saw Rich Campbell. And when you're getting the bosses involved here, I see what you did there. She reached out and she's calling on and... Oh, yeah. That's great stuff. Let's see. Is the database on a local machine or is it on a server that is accessed externally? That's just it. I don't know. Right? So let's back up a second and let's think this through. I'm just going to punch in this configuration here for a second here. Because I want it to run on app, which is an application builder. Let me copy this. Just so we can start the conversation here, okay? User manager is a user manager of type CoreWiki user. And we'll call that user manager. And let's control dot some of these. It doesn't know what that is yet. It doesn't know what that is yet either. But that's going to be a pain in the neck. Why do we have a triangle? Let's see. NuGet and projects. Okay, so CoreWiki data is gone, so we got to get rid of that. Yes. ASP.NET Core MVC. Hey. I wish I could add. There it is. So we want to put this onto the abstractions, I think. Yeah. And that should get us what this is, right? Add reference to, that's a problem. Don't think I need the user manager. Maybe not. All right. Let's get rid of that for now. Let's keep thinking this through. ASP.NET Core Builder. Cool. Oh, I need to return something. Let's return void for now. Nah. Let's return iApplication Builder. All right. So now at least it builds. Right? This, we need to add that reference. Yes. Give me a using statement. Let's get rid of that for now. Good. All right. Now we've got a thing. So I'm going to come back to Maz's link there in just a second. So if we treat the database communication as the latter, then we can hypothetically communicate and configure the database in such a way that it doesn't matter where the database is located. Yes. That isn't a question. It looks like a question because you put a question mark at the end. So Maz, yes, punched a tweet up there trying to get a hold of Hanselman and Scott Hunter, Richard Campbell, Carl Franklin, Paul Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley. Okay, hang on. I'm friends with both Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley. Thurrott actually lives about an hour north of me here, in Pennsylvania. And Mary Jo, of course, very well known. She's in New York City. And, yeah. We'll see about that. We shall see. All right. Would you not only need the DB context so that call a method that will do the work of check database? Right. I need to figure out how to check the database without knowing what the database is. I need to check that iRepositories are configured. Is that Kale for Twitch? Welcome. Thank you for the follow. You don't mean EF ones. Right. We want to look for our iRepository. So let's think this through. Right. So we have our data abstractions project that has our interfaces defined here. So I think we want to look at those interface objects. Hang on. So as far as I know, most database communication pipes are done via URL communications. If it is a SQL database, then you can return the schemas from the database. You would inject the I configuration, which holds the database config. Yes. So, Mawardi, hello. Hello, welcome. Going to have to catch up on the rest of the stream later today. Too tired to keep up. No problem, Mozcoder. We'll catch you later. Of course, as you know, we archive every stream off to YouTube so that folks can check it out a little bit later. Let me see. How's my audio there? Yeah, it's all right. I need to turn up my headphones. Is that better? Better. Hello, hello? All right. Added method to the interface just for the check. I'm not sure. Maybe. Let me pass the configuration in here, right? We're saving configuration off here. Let's pass that in. And I should be able to add that parameter. I'll F12 to bebop back over there. Bebop? Yeah, bebop. Sure. Let's make that a thing. I'm going to bebop back over here. So now I have access to configuration in this method. So what I want to check is there a database provider configured? Which right now lives inside of app settings. Here. So we have a data provider and some connection strings. Ahmed, hello, welcome. Heading out as well. Have a good day. Great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us, Lannon. So we can check to see if this is configured to at least get past that database configuration and then redirect to an installer page. So I think there's an initial check. Now, I think that works for us kind of nicely because this can also be set from, right, in ASP.NET Core, we can set our configuration here using both 3 different things, right? The app settings file, appsettings.json, command line parameters that are passed into our application as it started, or environment variables. That way we don't have to know if there are any more types of databases later and what the setting is and what they mean. Only the object that uses the setting would have that info. Yeah. Right. So let me save that. So let's save this. I'm going to open up and let's make sure that our test explorer is running. I'm going to dock it down here just to make sure that everything runs properly. And I'm going to kick off live unit testing just so it's hanging in the background. We don't do anything crazy stupid. Just got in from work. Rambling Geek, you're working on a weekend? I am too. Anyways. So what I could do, I could check to see if the configuration, right? I could check if the data provider is set and if there's any connection string values set. Now by default, I have these ones here for the SQLite configuration. Let's get the intercept part working first. That's fair enough. So let's do this. Let's do an initial check. Let's say var is configured. Is configuration complete? No, let's do this. Let's do app.mapWhen. Right, so I'm going to intercept the workflow here. And I'm past, so mapWhen is one of the methods that we can use to work on the flow here, right? To work on the request flow. So I'm going to receive a function that passes in the context, and we need to output a Boolean. So let's pass in a context to is configuration is first start complete. Let's say that. right? We'll create that method, generate. No, that's not what I want. That's a terrible idea. Let's do this. If I do that and I control dot. Ah, that's what I want. Right? And for right now, just to make sure that it works, I'm going to say false, right? So I want to say if it's not complete, and let's change this argument to, we'll just call it context so it becomes easier to use. Now, why doesn't it like that? All right, well then we'll call this is first start incomplete. That way, if it returns a true, so now we can take a look at doing the intercept. Does not exist in the current. I thought I just renamed it. You make me sad. All right, so now we're going to tell it what to do appropriately. So we're going to map and do something else instead. So this will be our action that we're going to pass in the app. So let's call it this app. Right, so now we'll say this app dot, and now I can use middleware. I can tell it do these other things appropriately. So let's say I would like to do run, but that's not going to be it. I'm going to use MVC, but route only into my first start area that we're deploying here. Right, and the areas. So, and there's also use when. But use when does the exact same thing. So I don't really want to do it. Let's change this to use when, because it terminates is what it looks like here. So if I say use MVC with the configure routes, but I want to configure specifically, go down into and only use this area. Why am I only getting... hang on a second. It's this one. All right. Change the return of the method to true. This method? Oh, yes. Thank you. Good catch. Thank you, Tiago. So I want to say use MVC, but I want to restrict it to just my one area. All right, so we're going to say routes. Routes dot map area route. And this is going to be first start is what we'll name it. The area name is first start. The template that we're going to go to will be first start controller. No, it's not even controller. It's going to be a page. Right? How does that look in startup? We just use MVC. Oh, drat. Do I need that part? Can I do an F1 and get right into that? No, don't you take me to log in. Don't you take me to log in. I want a map area route with a page. So what's that template look like? No, you're not going to tell me that here. Rats. Map area route with a razor page. What's that template look? Template controller equals home, but I'm doing it with a page. Right, I don't have templates. What's here under learn razor pages? Test index areas, right? Route data, route templates. Okay. Add page route. That's up in... What's your experience with C# and MySQL as a DB architecture? It's a great experience. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that. Works really nice together. I don't necessarily want to add... Right, I want to add a page route, but for first start. Right? What does that look like? Right, I don't necessarily want to map an area route. Right, or if I do map route, it doesn't have the area bit in there. I've done this before. Razor pages don't support this style of routing, only attribute routing. Well, okay, I want to remove the other areas so that the only place you can go to is first start. Right? How do I shut off going to everywhere else? All right, wait a sec. You don't. Yes, I do. Hang on.
It can be done exactly how I...
Wait a sec.
It can be done exactly how I want it. The only question is, are you the man to do it?
I am, and I will. And there's nothing you can do about it. All right, so let's just say use MVC here. So when add the routes, then redirect. Yeah, the contrapositive is what you want. That's a big word. If you're requesting something that isn't on the first start page, I want to redirect you to it. So let's... do I have the context being passed in? No, I only have application builder. Any other route would still go through this. Well, if first start is incomplete, then any request is coming through this. So I want to say this app, right? I want to say map, I believe. Yeah. And I want to say... right. Wait for .NET Core 3.0. Moz! Moz! Come on now. You're killing me here. Add the routes, then redirect. Yeah, I want to say... I want to map folks over. I want to map them over to the first start, right? Which means... yeah. Okay, so first start is incomplete. Now, when... right, I'm going to... no, I want to do this as a... yeah, I'm going to map them so that it continues through the request here. Why am I getting that? Yeah. So when context dot request dot path Starts with segments. There we go. First start. Right? Why doesn't it like that? Starts with segments, returns a Boolean. So I should be able to actually remove that, that, do one of those, put this down here. All right, so now I actually have to tell it what to do. No, no. Now, what about the first starts? Right, so when it doesn't begin with first start, then it should just output and go through and use that stuff. But in this case, they haven't requested it. Okay, this is the, let's call this the map app. I want to redirect at this point. Use path base. Adds a middleware that extracts the specified path base and post-penned it to the request path base. What the hell does that mean? No, don't want to do that. I want to run a redirect at that point. If you went somewhere else, redirect back through. So I think I want to do a run. Right? So request. Can I do redirect? No. I thought I could redirect from here. Request.response. Ah, there we go. Right, and I should be able to do that. Can I just get rid of those? And then get rid of that? Why doesn't it like that? Map.run. Add a terminal middleware delegate. Yeah. Can I convert void to a task? We should use Fira code. You might be onto something there. So if I do that one, this still doesn't like... Can I convert lambda expression to intended delegate type because some of the return... Okay, so this needs to be task.run. No, task dot, right, because run, right, this is context, and it wants me to return, let's do task dot, it doesn't know what task is, from result. Still doesn't like that. Why not? Need one of these then. That ends there. That ends up there. Okay. Return task dot completed task. Why don't you like that? Oh, duh. There we go. Okay, so that completes the map when? I've got an extra one in there now. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that built successfully. Look at that. All right. So now, thinking this through. So if first start is incomplete and you're requesting someplace that isn't first start, we're going to run a request that says redirect back to first start and indicate completed task. So if we are requesting first start, it should drop down and use MVC, in which case we should start getting some of our first start content, which is just a simple page to start here. Now, because I set this to say return true here, it is incomplete. This should fire always right now, right, so that we can test and make sure that it's running properly. Come on. Come on, CoreWiki. Show me what you got here, fella. Come on. Come on. Just do it, please. All right, so the application's starting. So much junk to load. We're getting there. Okay, yeah. All right. So it redirected me into first start. Cool. This is what I want, right? So now, just to make sure that the opposite works, right? Let me just mark this as false. Try it again. We should get the content. Like it, right? It should go to my homepage. Avoid using the layout there. Yeah, I think you're right. We'll need to use our default, a default layout that's specific to the first start operation. I think you're right, Brave Cobra. So there we go. I flipped it to false, and it does properly come through, and we are using the application. So I think that's good shape. I think that's pretty good. So use when. Yeah, I want to make sure that is first start incomplete only runs once ever. And we do want to avoid using the default layout right there. We want to use our own layout here. So I think what we'll do is we'll add a shared folder. And let's add a new item. No, wait. Whatever. It's got to be in here somewhere. Find me some Razor. Razor layout. There we go. So now it should use that layout when I'm in first start. Over here. So let's just run one or two more tests here to make sure that this is behaving properly. So that was Blue Ice, is the latest G Fuel mix that I've got. And it tastes like the old blue raspberry flavor that you would get as a kid in your snow cones at the county fair. Oh. Give me your admin. There we go. And it should have the rest of the layout looking properly there. Look at this. Why am I an Edge? What did you do to me? I don't want to be an Edge. Much better. Thank you. Lost the stream. Just me? Oh no. I'm still broadcasting. Cool. All right. Let's see here. Need to go to bed early morning tomorrow and get it working on Ubuntu distro, which you don't have. Oh my gosh. Good luck, Cryosis. Sleep well. Have a good one. Use await next constant. Instead of adding use MVC. Oh, let's try that. All right. Well, I don't have the next here. I'm in the app. I don't have next. What does everyone think about internals visible to for test projects? I think it's just fine for a test project. It just kind of makes sense. And you're sending me back to the middleware here. Right, so when you do app run async context, right? But I'm doing a use when here. Right? It would be nice to be able to do that, but I don't have the context. Right? Use when doesn't, I lose the context. I'm in the app at this point. It's an extraction on startup, not a builder. An extension on startup. Right. Well, no. So I've extended app builder. I'm confused here. I'm gonna leave the use MVC in here for right now because that's working for me. Let me know. I'm not quite understanding. I'm not grokking what it is that you got there. But this is behaving properly for me now. I need to figure out and write how this is going to check and do that. And then we can start building, right, some pages to do that configuration. So right now it's over here. Give me your admin. So I need to be able to detect what database extension, what database configuration options are available. No, not that. There you go. Right? So @ star lets you do razor comments that will not be sent down, will not be rendered and sent down to the viewers of your application. You'll PR it. Cool. All right, that works. We want to set database provider. We want to set database configuration. Add initial admin user. Set admin users password. Connor Wright Kappa. Yes, we're using ASP.NET. What? Don't you like ASP.NET? We're not using web forms. Different. We're using Razor pages. It's unusual. It's unusual? Why is it unusual? Give me some details. Why is it so unusual? There's more than 5 million .NET developers out there in the world. There's millions of ASP.NET applications. Not many people who I know make pages with ASP.NET. Try it. You might like it. It's completely open source. It runs on all the different operating systems. It'll even run on one of these, a Raspberry Pi. Runs great in the cloud, everybody's cloud. You get full support from Microsoft. And all the source code is out there on GitHub. And you get great open source tools to work with it. But then .NET Core wasn't around then. Okay. Looks like Fritz was showing a hockey puck. Where is my hockey puck? It was here on my desk. Oh, it's hiding back up there. I have a hockey puck that when I was a kid, and I used to play ice hockey in high school. They invite here in the Philadelphia area. They invite all of the local high school teams to the professional arena downtown, and you get to play a game against another high school team in the arena. I was fortunate; I was able to hang on to one of the pucks from my game at that arena. Really, really cool. I've built an AI similar to Alexa on your Raspberry Pi. Oh, that's cool. All right. I have a Raspberry Pi and I'm not using it. I use it for demos. And actually, the boss... No, not that one. His boss. That guy. Wants to do a session with us. Wants to come on the show and talk about building with .NET on the Raspberry Pi. So I think we're gonna have we'll have the boss. No, the other one. Join us, and we'll set that up here in the next few weeks. And it'll be a lot of fun. Scott, he's the director of .NET. He sets the direction on this. So I think we'll do a lot with Raspberry Pi there. Bring back Julie Lerman sometime. Ancient Coder, I think that's a great idea. Julie's doing a bit of travel here in the fall, and she's always up for joining us and chatting. So I think that's definitely in the cards. I just need to coordinate our schedules. A Pi show would be awesome, says Rambling Geek. And Janescu is actually going down the right path there. So for November, I am trying to coordinate an IoT full day workshop so that maybe that's where we'll have Scott join us and start off right from the beginning, unpacking this thing and putting all the pieces together, gluing on all the different things and actually building this and then starting to install the software, get it running with .NET, and then maybe we bring on NoOpCat. We'll bring on Suze Hinton and talk about adding features to it. Really an 8-hour, starting from order this stuff out there from Adafruit or from some other location and build your Pi, configure your software, and get it to do something really cool by the end of the day. I think it's a very compelling set of demos, whether you're using JavaScript, .NET, Linux, Windows IoT on the device. I think that there's some really neat stuff there. Thank you, Marcus. With NoOpCat, I think there's a great opportunity for us. We've been talking about doing something together like that so that everybody can kind of jump in to it and become comfortable with this. AI is currently written in Python, but you're thinking of redoing it in Go. All right. Those are great languages. If they make you happy, fantastic. We like .NET, and you can build and use all of those things here with C# as well. So we have a new framework called ML.NET that'll help you with machine learning, so you can do some of that stuff as well. So this is the list of tasks that I think we need to do in our user interface as part of the Get Started experience. Set the database provider, set the database configuration, add initial admin user, set that admin user's password. There might even be some additional things that we want to allow folks to set, right? Let's put here as the maybe, right? So these are the musts. Games and soft drinks. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. You're helping us with that rainbow beard challenge. I will dye my beard rainbow colored, and it'll make Maz really happy too. When we get to 5,000 followers there. Haven't done C# in a while. Have to take a look at that package. There's some really cool new features in C#. We're out to C# 7.3. There's even a C# 8 coming with some really great language features. And let's face it, C# 8 is the only language out there right now that you're going to get full support that has a corporate team dedicated to investing time to building out the language. There are other corporations that are investing time in building out languages, but you're not quite going to get the support and the tooling that you do from Microsoft around those .NET tools and languages. Thank you, Connor Wright. I appreciate the follow. Choose theme. That's another good one, right? Set the name of the wiki. Choose the default theme. Oh my gosh. Absolutely, right? Choose comment system. SendGrid configuration. Let's call that email configuration. SendGrid? Because right now we're tightly coupled to SendGrid for that. Anything in app settings? Yeah. Anything else in app settings? .json. CoreWiki app settings JSON. I think that's a good list. So these are the features that we want to light up. Yeah. I'm not going to get them all done today, but I think we've started a good discussion about these features and what we can do with them. All right. Let's think. Think. Let's go back over. Smite Baron asks, do you consider JetBrains Rider a good IDE? I think Rider's doing a good job of trying to disrupt the IDE market. IntelliJ is a fantastic IDE for Java developers. And Rider is trying to take what's in IntelliJ, merge it together with ReSharper and make it a unified user experience. And they're doing a great job of trying to push the market. Visual Studio is a clear leader in that market, not the leader. It's probably the leader in commercial IDEs. And Rider is really trying to push Visual Studio, and I think it's tremendous because there really wasn't too much competition. And I think this is something that it's always good to have more competition. Rider isn't in a final release yet, but I think it's great to see that push. I'm gonna wait for that notification to pop up here. We should see that pop up. But Rambling Geek, thanks so much for giving that subscription, and it's going to go to NeoGetta. Congratulations, you've got a free subscription thanks to Rambling Geek here on the channel, and since it's September on Twitch, you'll be able to renew that subscription for $1 next month instead of the usual $5. I'm not quite sure why the notification didn't pop up there, but thanks so much, and you'll get a chance now to use the .NET bot emote in the chat room, and I will match that contribution, and we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. Is app settings writable? There's a good question, and that's something we're going to need to figure out and kind of test here and make sure that we can do something with it. Let's actually test that now, and that'll kind of push us in the right direction with this, I think. And then we can kind of park this. Maybe we can let some folks put together some pull requests to build out some of these features here. So the question that Brave Cobra asks, and it's a good question, is can we write to app settings? And I don't know. How do we get access to app settings? Well, it's going to be on disk, so we need to receive access to a hosting environment. So if we get access to the hosting environment as part of our index page, just to see what's in there, right? So let's create a constructor, and let's receive the iHosting environment. Let's call it env. Control dot to get that. This dot environment equals env. Let's create that as a read-only property. There it is. Now it's available on my page. You could in ASP.NET 4 or 5 Yes, you're right. We could write to the web config back then, but that was different, right? We're trying something new and bold and all right. So we've got access to the environment. So can we say environment dot? I think it's going to be on the content root path. So that'll be the directory that's at the root of this. Smite Baron, thank you so much for the follow. You could use a separate configuration source for writable app settings, like pull in app settings from the database. Ooh. That's not bad. Let's talk about this for a second. I like where you're going there, Jared. But, and Brave Cobra's right, when we're in a Docker image, now you should have write access to the folder. If there's no database yet, I don't know where to pull that from. True. I want to pull it from app settings. App settings, we know ASP.NET Core has a facility to pass us the application settings. So I'm going to do some sort of investigation of it, but I want to check the app settings file on disk and write to it and load it up appropriately. Yeah, I think we need to, at the very least, write our database configuration into the app settings file on disk. And so Brave Cobra, that was actually an issue. That was actually an issue with something else going on with the deploy button and the Docker image that it was pulling. And we do have that fixed with SQLite. Damn, I'm almost done that now too. Maybe that's how I know it's time to get done. We're done. So let's put together the app settings file location. So if we say, right, if we call this settings file location, let's just test this out and see if we can get access to it and write something into it, right? Equals environment content root path. Well, we want to do a path.combine, right? Path is available in the system IO namespace. We want to combine the two paths. Content root path should give me the absolute path, so the file path on disk to the directory that contains the application content files, which should be where app settings lives. And I'm going to combine onto it app settings.json, right? And app settings JSON should be all lowercase. I need to make sure that we're case sensitive for that in case we're on Mac or Linux, right? Because of course, starting next week, it'll be on Mac and Linux. Just need to set the values, configuration key equals value, but is it going to write that to disk? Will it update the disk? What if you had a local SQLite database for external database config? We're going to need to inject the iConfiguration, right? So let's do that also. Let's pass that in. Let's pass that in. Right? So we'll store this. So we're experimenting at this point, right? We're not intending to get a feature built here. Right? If I said configuration, that's not how you spell that. Configuration, right? Can I do a save here? No, I can't do a save. I can set values, right? And these are all gets at this point. I thought configuration was read-only. Gets or sets a configuration value. So I could set that configuration value, but how do I save it back to disk, right? So if this is foo equals bar, right? How does it know to save that to disk? Right? There is no save here. What's on configuration extensions? What's in here? Add exists. Yeah. So I like I like where you're going, Brave Cobra, but I don't think, because configuration can come from 3 different sources, by default, right? And there's plenty more we can add into the mix. I don't think we can necessarily just set the value and be done with it. I think we're actually going to need to reach into our settings file, do some JSON manipulation, and actually write it to disk, to force it in there. So that'll get me the settings file location. So now if I do something with json.net to actually open it up and start parsing it. Yeah, Maz, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. We're going to be writing that content in ourselves. So I have the file location. So if I say, no, don't do that. Bad idea. Right. Let's do like JSON convert so I can get that namespace in here. Right. One of those. So if we say, right, the JSON file. Yeah. Is going to be like JSON, not convert. I want to do like a JSON, not a writer. I need to read it to open it and put it into a document, into an object. Right? So do I do a JSON converter and put it into... Yeah, let's put it into an object. New JSON converter. Right? Read JSON. Oh, no. Bad idea. Bad idea. JSON convert. There we go. Default settings. No. Deserialize object. Yeah. String value. The JSON to deserialize. Rats. No. I want a file. I think I'm gonna need to open the file directly. Here's the code. How to update values into app settings JSON. Somebody already wrote it. What do I think of Newtonsoft JSON? I think it's a tremendous library that James has done a great job to make accessible to everybody across all of the .nets. Add JSON file. iWritable options out. Ooh, I like this. But and JSON.net is extremely fast, works great, and it's become the default way to interact with it. How would this app settings update handle deploying a new version of the wiki? I think when you deploy a new version of the wiki, we shouldn't overwrite the app settings file. Whatever app settings, when you do an update, app settings, I think, should be unchanged. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't built a release pipeline yet, because I think some of those types of things, both the app settings file and any data under the app data folder, which is where we write our default SQLite databases, should be untouched during a deployment. There's a simplified version below. I'm going through it. Holy crow! So writable options, iWritable options, blah, 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 blah. Environment, get content root file. File provider, get file info. Physical file, deserialize object as a J object. Service collection extensions. Oh my gosh. You can then pass a custom JSON file as optional parameter. Blech. Appsettings.custom.json. Well, okay, here this goes towards what I think Jared was suggesting. Maybe we have an app settings for start.json that has all of these types of configuration items in it, and we add it in so that we can appropriately say all those first configuration things are over there in that other configuration file. Use StreamReader to read the file content, save data to a string, serialize it using JSON convert, manipulate, and then save back the manipulated JSON string to the file. Yes. Yes. Mawardi, I think that's exactly the process that we're going to end up going through. And it looks like this is a simplified wrap-up of exactly that. Service collection extensions configure writable on the services. So configure this as a writable set of options. Yeah. Okay. That does look pretty good. Doominator, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, ASP.NET Core is a pretty good framework. And it's the fastest commercial framework available according to the Tech Empower benchmarks. So, what languages do I know? I know VB, C#, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I know enough C and C++ to hurt me if I had to get into it. It's been a while since I've done Fortran, but I know some of those. I can skip to the string part and pass it to the stream in JSON.NET. Yeah. Don't use Docker. Ah! You can skip to the string part? Yeah. Yeah. Would that work on Docker images, as each time the app settings would be unconfigured? So let's think about that. In a Docker image where we're deploying and we're keeping a configuration somewhere else, we would put that configuration that we'd want to persist either into environment variables, or we would write it into a volume that we would want to share that has those persisted configuration settings. You know, Rust. Cool. Yes, settings should come from outside the image. Yes, agreed. Settings should come from outside the image. Yes, that's a valid consideration. This is a hard problem, isn't it? How do we write back the settings? And based on your configuration of the application, there's a bunch of different places we could write those settings. Hey there, 3V. Good to see you. So where do we write it? Where do we write it? We could... what are we thinking? How can we write this? Why not have defaults to begin with? Write the file and the user could change. Yeah. Yeah. You still have to write the file somewhere. Can the deploy button set environment variables? I believe it can. Deploy to Azure button configuration. I believe you can. Quick way. Nah, that's not it. That's not right. Deploy to Azure button. Ugh, that's from 2015. No, bad idea. Somebody added it. Great. It's like deploy.azure.com. I thought it was like the base for. Oh dear Lord, not this thing again. Yeah, I already told you to do this once. There we go. The button. And there's ways that you can, yeah, here we go, templates. So you can tell it other configuration options to put in here. More detailed, check out this blog post. So here's the parameters that you want to receive. Right, some app setting. Yeah, where does that app setting go? Right? Ugh. Here we go, parameters. Parameters, right? Properties, app settings, some app setting. So, right, in this set of parameters up top here, we could actually allow you to capture what should go into an environment variable here. Well, it'll be passed into the Docker image when it runs. If you're using the deploy to Azure button, if we're doing a straight Docker container that you might pull from hub.docker.com, we still need to find another way to save it. Why not just write in the hosted folder, secure, of course. Yeah. That's not going to work on AWS or GKE. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But for deploy to Azure, that will work. For those environments, you still need to be able to configure the environment variables that, right? And you can do it on those environments. All right. We need to constrain some scope here because we're getting a little bit too wide on trying to cover everything. So let's work on just save the file to disk if somebody's just deploying it straight to a folder. And then we'll start to dial in some of these other scenarios because there's definitely a lot of scenarios here. And you know what? Let's do this. No, there's a thing. I want to refactor. Ugh. No. Test writing file to disk. Just so it's a little bit clearer what I'm doing over here. All right. Deserialize object, and I want to put this into a, isn't it JSON object or something? Something like that. No. Where was it? Right, I thought this deserialized into a J object. Yeah. Ooh. J object. There we go. So now we can use link to go across it. I need to get the data from disk inside that file. File contents equals new text reader. Oh no. I need to open a file. New file reader? No. String reader? No. I thought it was text reader. If it's JSON text reader, yeah, it wants a text reader. I don't want that. I thought I could do a new text reader and point it to a file on disk. Why am I not injecting the app settings section with iOptions? We do a little bit. And it is read-only. We're trying to update it. Rats, what is it to read? File dot... Come on now. Give me the... Why am I not getting... System, IO, file, read all text. That's what I want. Settings, file location. Now... This is a string with all the stuff in it. So now I can do that. And now I have the contents. So I should be able to do something like JSON file dot add. Well, I want to get the root dot children. Oh, now I'm somewhere completely different. That's an enumerable. Returns a collection of child tokens in order. Right, I want to add an element here. And let's just say add. Immediately after this token. Sure. And we need to specify the content. So let's add a new, is it J token? Yep. Hang on. Why am I logging in? JSON.net. JObject parse. So I have that. Add JObject.parse. All right, so let's do that. JObject.parse. And then the JSON that we want to add. Fantastic. Test. No, let's do foobar. Foo bar. Right, so that should add that. And then I want to write it to disk. Right? Deserialize with JSON serializer from file. Right, stream reader. How's that different? File open text. Why don't you like that? Seriously, that's... Huh? Have you used UTF-8 JSON? No. Versus writing a class and deserializing to an instance of it. I don't want to do that because I want my configuration to be a little bit more flexible, and I don't want to have to go and update all the configuration everywhere. I'd prefer it to be a little bit more dynamic. I don't get why I'm not getting... Okay. Oh, wait a sec. Because file is actually an object here. That works. Yeah, but that's a stream reader. I'd rather do that. Yeah. If the model is static, use a class for type safety and readability. It is not. So I should be able... All right, so I've just added that into my J object. Now I need to serialize it to disk. Right? I have the settings file location. So I'm going to use JSON serializer. Yes, I'm going to create one. Sure. And now I should be able to say serializer dot serialize. Yep. JSON writer, a text writer. Oh, that makes me sad. All right, new JSON writer. Yuck. How is this doing it? JObject parse, JSON convert serialize object, file write all disk. I like that. I'm just going to steal that. Okay, so that's my location here. I need to put system.io dot in front of that. JSON convert serialize object. This is my JSON file. And that should write it to disk, enhancing my app settings. How isn't it faster? Explain. Definitely fastest in zero allocation JSON serializer. Lower is better. This benchmark is convert an object to UTF-8 and UTF-8 to object benchmark. It is not to string. So Jill, NetJSON, and JSON.NET contain additional UTF get bytes, get string. Definitely means does not exist. Encoding decoding cost. Benchmark code is in sandbox perf benchmark by benchmark.net. Interesting. I hadn't heard of this. Holy crow, this README is almost as long as mine. I'm not going to be able to give it a try today, but I am going to put this on my list here. And here's what I would encourage you to do, Tiago. Why don't you open an issue in the CoreWiki repository, and let's talk about... not there. Open an issue in here, and let's include a link to that UTF-8 JSON project, and let's talk about possibly including that as a change here. Hey, that's awesome, JSPP. Congratulations for continuing the gift sub. Why aren't my gift subscription notifications coming up? All right. I want to... This should write out that change once it comes in, and we should get a foo bar added to the end of app settings, JSON. It should get added actually right after the root, so it should be the first child in here. Let's give it a whirl and see what we get, what comes up here. Gotta use that deal. Yes. The alert's probably not continued to listen to it. Maybe. After error reading JObject from JSON reader. Current JSON reader item is not an object. Oh no. What do we got here? Let's put a breakpoint right here so we can take a look at what's in there. So file contents. Yeah, it's got it. That's a thing. So this is saying error reading current JSON reader item is not an object. Sure looks like it. Right? Kablamo. No, it's down here at this one. JObject parse foo bar. It doesn't like this. Not that one. Where was it? No. No. Too many pages. Right? Oh, I didn't add curly braces around it. That's what it is. We should be able to add that. Yeah, you're right, Moz. Good catch. I think that at least that's what I saw that also. Right? How we doing? We're a little bit over. That's okay. I think we've been kind of productive today and been having a lot of fun. Okay. There we go. Did it add it? No, didn't like it. What didn't it like? The parent is missing. The parent is missing. What does that mean? The parent is missing. Let's go back over here. So if we say JSON root, so if we say just add, no, won't let me do that. Right, because doesn't root return a J? It returns a J token. Hang on. So if we say to object, no, I don't want that. If I say children, well, I want to say first. Hey, IVCodo22. Thanks so much for the follow. Now, see, I still can't say add. You've grown to love Win Tab instead of Alt Tab when having a lot of windows open. Hey, Bokyo. Good to see you again. Shoot. Try adding first your banana token should do it. Banana add after self. The first basically moves past the parent add after self. Wait, all right. So if we do add after self, yeah, it's just the content. After self is the method I want. Like that. Hang on. No. So it's after self dot. Is it children dot add? No. So after self, then what? Are we having trouble writing a JSON file? Win.dot is nice for remote writing. Yes. No, I'm having trouble modifying the JSON. So I've got a J object, add after self, new J property. Don't like that. Fruit object dot property after, no. Root dot add after self. So I've parsed that dot first, like that. Let's give that a shot. No, it doesn't like the first. Ah, okay. Try that one. No parens. Thank you. What camera am I using now? The C920 is playing up. This is a Razer Kiyo. And it's got a cool little light ring on it. No, doesn't like it. The parent is missing. Yeah. I don't know where they're putting them now. I need to figure that out. Because they're moving stuff around over there in the docks area, and it's not clear where things are landing. At least not clear to me. And truth be told, I haven't spent a lot of time searching for it. But when I do a search, it doesn't pop right up. Alright. This feels right. JSON.net, add new element. Add element to array like JSON. Best way to... No. 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 Add after self. Why not deserialize to the object you want immediately? Well, we don't know the shape of the object. Well, I could just do that. That looks easy to do. Right. Maybe we just nuke this all together and just say JSON file foo equals bar. If it is that easy. If this is that easy. Are you freaking kidding me? Talk about over-engineering it. Oh my gosh. Smokeless Panic, thanks so much for using your Twitch Prime here. Oh my gosh. I really appreciate that. You're going to get the .NET bot emote. And of course, I'm going to match that and make a great donation over to Girl Develop It. And Ivy Kodo, thanks so much for your subscription. We'll do the same thing there. Ah, Smokeless. I see you're a friend of Ellie Face. That's right. I forgot all about it. Good to see you, Smokeless. Thanks so much for sharing your Twitch Prime subscription. And yes, we will be making donations to Girl Develop It. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Were we having trouble writing a JSON file? Yeah, we were. We were overthinking it. We now have it working properly. Oh my gosh. So now what I should be able to do is I should be able to reach into data provider and set that value properly based on when you put a value in there. So great to see you, Smokeless. Thanks so much for stopping by. And you blow it. And I spent a lot of time routing around trying to just figure this out. You like the new categories for streams? I think I'm in a good place with the programming category. I think that works nicely for us. All right, so our index page now. Now we know how to do this. This feels like the right way for us to modify and update those settings in the app settings JSON. It at least allowed me to write it here when I'm deployed and working on a VM or on some standard on the metal, let's say, deployment. But what I need to do is also at some point be able to support writing it back into a configuration that might live outside of it if we are using Docker. Twitchloft says, okay, cool, thought the shape if a settings file would be known. Here's the thing. We're going to be adding additional features and extensions to CoreWiki, and those other extensions might have different shapes of things that we don't necessarily know right off the top. And as it grows and as we add other folks build their own extensions for this, because we want to have a rich ecosystem of extensions to the application. As the generic just getting started provider, I don't know what that configuration is. So there may be a point where we want to pass that off and come back. You shouldn't write to app settings JSON directly. That's why they added overloads like appsettings.dev. I can buy that as well, so that we have our specific application deployment sitting in appsettings.app.json or something like that. Right? We could do that, right? If this is appsettings.app.json, right? We're going to, and, right, we can say if file, here we go again with system.io file.exists, settings file location, right? So if it doesn't exist, let's create the file, right? Oh, I did it again. File dot create. Can I specify the text? Yeah. And it'll be in settings file location. So then we'll read all text. There's nothing going to be in there. Going to head out. Good to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by. See you later. Folks, right? Let's not use just guys. There's ladies here as well. I want to make sure we recognize everybody here, right? We want to be more inclusive. So we should have a factory for a settings saver that we ask the user what environment they're hosting in. Ooh. Then add the reload on change true when reading it. I think that's option snapshot. But we've got something here that gets us moving in the right direction. But I think what you're saying, Brave Cobra and Moz, I think they definitely play together quite nicely. Okay, so let's kind of, right, let's try and put together here and sign out so that we stop rambling here. Santosh Kintali, welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Oh my gosh, we're almost at 3,900. Ooh. All right. So we need some sort of a configuration object that'll allow us to do that. How to update values into app setting JSON, says Beck Bristow. Yeah. So it's what about this? String X equals dynamic JSON v3 equals 3. So I'm deserializing object, right? And I'm saying that equals whatever we're adding in. So if we did, all right, so, right, you're suggesting if we did something that looks kind of like, right, V1, 1, V2, let's put an @ sign outside here. So we can do 2, so it comes back as a string. V3, true. Something like that, right? What happens when we run that? See what that looks like. Runtime JSON object mutation. For a second there, I read that as mutilation. What am I trying there? So what we're trying is we're gonna build and allow our settings file to be mutated, to be changed as we build our project here. We didn't properly close that new file here. Hang on. So settings create. So it should create that file, right? And it returns a file stream. Our Hawk, thank you for the follow. I need to do a file stream dot close file stream dot dispose. So it releases that file so we can now go and start butchering it. Maybe the variable needs to be declared as dynamic. Ooh, I would avoid that. Hourhawk with the... That is a cool Hearthstone... What is that? HS Cheers. That's a really cool emote icon. Dude, I like it. There we go. So now I'm out to this point, and it doesn't like that syntax we were talking. David and Damien would be cross. They don't know it won't hurt them. No, it doesn't like that syntax. What are we making right now? What's that one? RD reload. Oh, neat. That is not how they architected it. No. Hey, Rambling Geek, thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription. I appreciated that. Using System I/O. Well, here's the deal. I am already using System I/O, and it's confusing. Right? It's getting confused because there is a file object. Right? If I say file, I'm on the file. Hang on. Right? There is a... Say... That's this file. And physical file. Right? It's a file content result if you're serving that out. So, not what I want. I want to manipulate another file. But this syntax doesn't work. We're going to need to do something else to build that out. But, right, I can do JSON file. No. Foo equals bar. And that will work. You need the keys as string also. Let me come back to that. Come on. That didn't work. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Interesting. You know what? I bet you there's app settings app JSON and it's empty. Wonder if we need to start it with some content. Right? Let's write some content into it. Oh, you make me so sad. You make me even sadder. I need a byte array. Fine. String. No. No. Where is it? ASCII encoding. Boom. No, not getting coding. ASCII dot get bytes. Haha. And just start with that. Offset 0 count. That's going to be the size of that. Let's introduce a local just to make it easier there. Bytes 0, and it's going to be bytes dot length. So now it's written into there. S&B.
Bazinga.
Yes, Bazinga! Thanks so much for the subscription. 5 months in a row! Oh my gosh. There was 5. Thanks so much. Oh, and it's not going to write to it because the file exists. It's just not empty. Right. Hang on, let me empty that file and try it again. Actually, just delete the file. Goodbye. Try again. 3850. Oh. You know, it would be great if we crossed 4,000 here in the next week or two. Where'd it go? We paused. It's writing the file out. Give me your admin, so that's there. If I go back into Solution Explorer, app settings, app JSON, and it's got my settings. Okay. So I think we're getting a little bit closer. So this means now we would need to update our startup. Not startup, our program. Oh my gosh, we're going to update program. So when we add the configuration, right? Use configuration. Now we're passing it in. I want to add to configuration. ASP.NET Core. Add configuration. We're almost there. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Configure app configuration. That doesn't look at all weird. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Seriously, I can't believe I just did it. Control-Shift-T. It worked. I remembered that from earlier. Hang on. Let's do this. It is Bruce Almighty Evan Scene. This is what I want. I'm going to cut this. No, not this. I don't even want to hear you. I mute thee, YouTube. Come on. Great.
News at 6. Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
What? No. What did he say? Why would he do such a thing?
Probably just fine. Evan, read the copy.
Yes,
Please.
read the
Copy's
copy.
good. Just read it.
The White House Reception Committee greeted the prime rib roast minister, and I do the cha-cha like a sissy girl. In other news.
That's what I want. Yeah, that's what we need as a sound effect here on stream. Okay. Anyways, configure app configuration. That wasn't at all I don't have ads in YT. I don't have Amazon either. Ooh. Yeah, I don't have YouTube. Whatever. Moving on. I want the default configuration stuff. And then I want to add my configuration. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat and steal the source code. Yes. I'm going to go to ASP.NET and I want the meta package. The default, where all that configure default stuff lives. It's the meta package. It does meta things. It's not meta. Maybe it is meta. I want the meta package, and I want to find. Wrong one. T. There we go. Configure hosting startup. No. Default. That's not how you spell default, but there it is. I want to be in that folder. Oh, but this is a test. This is only a test. Here. No. Is it in here? Create default builder. Yes. Configuration. What a show. It's the configuration. What do you know? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But where is it where it adds like the environment? Create default builder, create default builder. Rats. No. Where is it? Where it adds like the environment. Just add your extra config in the method you have. It appends them. It does? Like I can just say config dot add JSON file, and it is app settings dot app dot JSON, and I forgot to put quotes around that. And it'll just do the thing? Are you sure? Let's find out. So I should be able to now go here. Not that one. It was an index. We're over here. So I should... Let's go right here. Let's see what's in configuration when it loads. You saw one line of it. Rats. All right, hang on. We're going to figure this out, and then I think we'll call it a day. And we'll leave it there so that folks can put together some pull requests, and we can come back to this next time. Here we go. Test writing file to disk. So if I go to configuration, I should be able to say configuration foo, and it should say bar. Yes! It's got it. It's got it. Right, app settings, app JSON, and it's updated. Okay. So we know how to do this now. We made it, yes. We made it. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to commit these into... yeah. I'm going to commit this. Holy crow, that's loud. All right. So we figured out how to write an additional configuration file. We're going to commit those changes to disk. Not just to disk, but into the repository. And we will call it a day. Yeah. Let's add all the new things. Tested and now writing configuration to app settings.app.json. And now I think that puts us in a great place to be able to go forward and put all those application specific settings in one place that's appropriate for your deployment. But the overall settings around logging and the CSP settings, I think we leave in app settings. But we'll end up moving email notifications, comments, authentication with our different providers, third-party providers, and the database connection into app settings, app JSON. And we'll make that the place that's user maintainable from the user interface. So an admin, think about this, an admin can actually write to and manage these settings then from outside of it. So Beck Bristow, here's what we did. We went through and we discussed, here's how we're going to start to write our first start configuration. So when you first deploy CoreWiki, instead of having a default user that you need to log in as and go change things, it'll wake up and prompt you and say, oh, I don't have a configuration yet. Let's start loading in some configuration. So we want to be able to configure as a must the database provider, the database configuration, that information about that initial admin user. Mario, you need to keep running again. Thank you. And then there's going to be some of these other things that you're going to want to configure. The name of the wiki, the default theme, the comment system. Spell comment, right, Jeff? And some of this other configuration. So we took some time And we got that laid out and working, I think, in a nice way here, so that in our test, right, we just spiked a solution here for a second. So we know how to write those files to disk, and we've also got a method here that says if first startup is incomplete, and right now we just forced it to true. We'll figure out how to test that another time. We're going to redirect everybody into this first start area. This way, nobody, right, can come in and jump in and try and edit something or go into user admin before it's actually been configured yet. You're forced into doing the initial configuration of the application. So I think that's pretty cool, right? So I'm just going to show this will load up, right? That's fine. Go ahead, right? And I'm pointed to this page, but if I try and go to /home, right, I still get routed back to the same page. I can't go somewhere else. Really cool. I'm really happy with how that works, and it gives us a new place, a good place to jump off of for next time. So Tuesday morning, I'm actually not going to be able to host the stream. I will be giving a full workshop at the Tech Bash conference. You've seen Tech Bash pop up over there in the events box. So I'll be there. Thursday, I don't think I'll be able to run the stream because I'll still be at Tech Bash. Friday, we should be able to run the stream because I'll be back here at home. But definitely next Saturday, I will be on and we'll be running another stream. Cool. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun today. I'm going to take us over to the chat window and say goodbye. Cool. Thanks so much. It's been real. And I'll be over at Tech Bash. I'll try and get another stream in here. I'll let you know when it kicks off. But, and that stream will be on Ubuntu. Yes. Maybe we'll do our next stream just on getting Ubuntu set up for development. I think that might be a good reference point for us to get started for Ubuntober. Starting Monday. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty, folks. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. Take care.